Hey, Teresa, what are you doing?
I'm waiting for you to start the podcast.
Oh, was I supposed to do that?
I tried to
Sorry.
start it myself, and I'm like, "Hey, Kim," and I'm like, "Yeah, Teresa," but I don't know. It lacks something when you're not here.
Oh, I'm so glad because it would really hurt my feelings if I felt like you didn't need me.
No, we all need.
Okay, good. All right. Well, welcome everybody to Holistically Curious, the podcast. So happy that you're listening.
Episode 5.
Episode 5.
Episode 5.
No. We're
No.
over that.
Oh, we're done
Now
with
that we're
that.
to 5, it's not a big thing no
It's
more.
it's not a thing.
It's not a
episode
thing.
5.
It's just episode 5. But yeah, I'm super glad everybody is here with us. We got all our curious friends out there. We really appreciate the support. We've been just really pleased and so happy that we've heard from you guys and that you're leaving us lovely reviews, and we really appreciate that.
Yes, and we'd like to welcome listeners from our 12th country. We're now heard in 12 countries with our new listeners in what country, Kim?
Greece.
Greece.
Yes.
So that is
beautiful.
so exciting. Thank you all for spreading the word.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for telling your friends, for sharing our podcast with other people. We're all just trying to get through this crazy little life. And, the more education, more things we find out about, learn about, discover, the easier it is for all of us. And when you kind of find something that's helpful in your journey, it's good to share it with other people. So
share it with your friends. And I mean, we talked last time about finding your tribe, and I've really been thinking they're our tribe, Kim, and we really appreciate finding a tribe like that, and the fact that they're willing to come on our journey with us.
Yes, thank you so much. It's been fun. We're having a great time. I hope you guys are enjoying as well. So
what else? What's going on? What's happening?
What's happening? I've been curious. I have definitely been. I stay in a constant state of curiosity. I'm very curiosive. No, that's not a word.
You're replete with curiosity.
Thank you. I love how you say that. I am replete. I'm very replete.
She's been replete since she was born, but
that is true. Yes. No, I've actually, Teresa, I have been thinking a lot about the state of our world lately. Not to get all serious and stuff, but I'm going to.
You just got way heavy on my ass.
Did you feel the energy just kind of went, whoom.
Yeah. No wonder you didn't want episode 5.
Right. Yeah, because, especially in the light of this senseless violence in Las Vegas, those things unfortunately happen way too often all around the world. And let me just say my love and prayers go out to all the victims and their families.
Yes, please.
That horrible, despicable act. Yeah, it's heartbreaking, but it made me really think about our world. And I really do believe that our world is sick and out of balance. And I think we're really going to have to change if we're going to survive as a species, I think. I know that's really heavy, but I just feel like this world is not well.
Here's the thing, love.
Yes.
And I agree with you. Here's the thing, though. Yes, it's very heavy. But the thing is that everything's about balance, and even holistics itself is about the joyous, light, beautiful things. And it's also about how to deal with and overcome or live with whatever it is, the darker things. So, what are you finding out? What are you thinking?
Well, it's just that what I've been thinking about is how, I agree with you 100% that everything is about the balance. And I think the energy of our world, the balance is off. It's just like in your body. When something is off, you get ill. So I think that all the violence, the natural disasters, the overall lack of integrity and kindness that's exhibited by a lot of people on our planet, what I've been thinking about and reading about is that I think that these are actually like the death throes of an old paradigm.
Is it time?
Yeah, I think this is the death throes of this old way of doing things that has led us into this state of unbalance in our planet, which is actually leading us to an overall existential change in humanity's way of life.
Wow.
Yeah, so many people believe we're actually moving towards this beautiful new world, and to help facilitate this change, special souls have been and are continuing to be born on our planet.
So it's interesting, isn't it, that sometimes death throes move you into a more beautiful state of being.
Exactly. Well, it's just like our physical being when we die. What for those of us that believe in an afterlife, you move on to pure spirit, right? So it's like sometimes you have to shed these old ways of doing things, these old energies, these old whatever, and to make way for this new beautiful whatever.
Yeah, the process is hard though, isn't it?
It's very difficult to be in the midst of it, for sure. But, there are people that say that there have been these beautiful souls that have been incarnated on our planet and are continuing to be to help facilitate us through this process. So what I'm leading up to is what my topic is today. And, some people believe that these souls have been coming to our planet in waves of incarnation since the end of World War II. And they've been coming in order to show us how we've shifted out of balance and how we need to return to balance in order to heal this sick world of ours.
Kim, am I the subject of your episode?
Perhaps. I don't know.
Sorry, I just thought, maybe.
Well,
Okay.
First of all, let me say, I think most souls are very, very beautiful.
Point taken. Point taken.
But these are special souls that have a particular mission. Like they're incarnated for one particular reason. So Teresa, I'm sure you've heard the term indigo children before.
Yes.
Or an indigo child.
And I've met them. Absolutely.
Right? So,
Yes.
well, if for our listeners, anybody who's not familiar, indigo children are said to be the first generation of these special beings who came to Earth with a mission to help humanity evolve for the better. So they're here to raise our overall vibration and to help foster in this new world. Indigo children are children who are believed to possess special, unusual, and sometimes supernatural traits or abilities. And they're actually sometimes referred to as crystal children or star children. So you might have heard them being referred to that way as well.
Yes.
The term indigo child comes from psychic Nancy Ann Tepe, who classified people's personalities according to the hue of their auras, and first noticed this influx of children with indigo auras. So an aura, let me just say for those who aren't familiar, an aura is an invisible emanation or field of energy that's believed to radiate from a person. And some people can actually have the sight to be able to see this aura. They kind of have that sixth sense that they can pick up on that.
So is she seeing, I'm assuming their auras are indigo?
Yes.
Wow. And is she not seeing that in like older generations?
She just noticed an influx of especially young children that had a predominant amount of this indigo blue color in their auras, enough to take notice. And I think if I remember correctly, what happened was then she, through her talking with the children and kind of working with them, discovered certain personality traits and certain characteristics of those children, which she realized that these were a special group. So Teresa, many people, once they heard about this concept that Nancy Ann Tapp had discovered, they enthusiastically embraced this concept, and actually many books were subsequently written on the topic. In fact, this actually began a new way for people to recognize and classify 3 distinct groups of children over the next 3 generations, which are said to be here on a distinct mission to help us move towards this better world.
That is so exciting.
It is so exciting. Based on several different sources I've read, the time period for each of these classifications does differ somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
And the time of each group actually overlaps one another. So it's hard to say definitively, this group is from this year to this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to go ahead and give a general time frame for each group.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So first was the indigo children, which were said to have been born starting after World War II and on into the 80s. And then came the crystal children in the 80s and into the lower 2000s. And finally, the rainbow children from 2000 to today. And the terms indigo, crystal, and rainbow were given to these 3 generations because they most accurately describe the aura colors and energy patterns of these particular children. And although, I'm not aware of any scientific studies There might be some out there, but I'm just not aware of it, which give credibility to that existence of these particular children. I'm definitely open to their existence because I've met so many individuals who demonstrate the characteristics that I'm going to talk about and that would easily fall into one of these three categories. And also because I would like to believe that God is sending us these beautiful souls to aid us in transforming our world.
Well, we don't necessarily already have studies that can quantify these sorts of things scientifically. Doesn't mean that we won't have in the future. And as a mother of a crystal child, I'm on board. So I can't wait to hear more.
Oh, good. So let's move on then with an open and curious mind. Obviously, you're already sold on the concept. But I definitely, I think that this is something that can be looked at with a little skepticism, but I definitely think it's something we need to tell people about. And so just keep an open mind and let's examine these three generations of special beings. So first, we're going to talk about the Indigo children and just a little bit about their characteristics and what their mission is. So as I previously said, Indigo children have a lot of indigo blue in their auras or their energy fields. And although these Indigo children were born after World War II and on into the 80s, the biggest influx was in the 70s. So 1970s, there were a lot of these Indigo children born. And they were believed to be the next stage in human evolution. In some cases, they possess paranormal abilities, such as telepathy. And they're said to be much more empathetic and creative than their peers. Indigos have a warrior spirit because their collective purpose is to mash down old systems that no longer serve us. They're here to really just squash government, educational, legal systems, everything that's around that lacks integrity. They're here to kind of destroy that. Their mission is to break down the old, flawed, traditional way of thinking and just to make way for the new. So they're here just to kind of stop the old and get ready for the new to come along. And to accomplish this, they need tempers and they need a fiery determination. So
okay.
You got the temper part down.
I know, and sort of the age range-ish.
Right?
So maybe the beginning of that range, but yeah, but I mean, it makes sense that the front guard is going to have to destroy the old ways.
Exactly. Yes. Agreed. It's interesting because obviously those adults who are exposed to these Indigo children who resist this change and who value conformity, people who conform, they might misunderstand the Indigos and have a hard time butting heads with the Indigos.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is that fieriness in what their mission is. Indigo children can sense dishonesty like a dog can sense fear. So they know when they're being lied to, patronized, or manipulated, and they're not going to have anything to do with it. And since their collective purpose is to usher us into a new world of integrity, the Indigo's inner lie detectors are completely integral to their mission. And as mentioned before, this warrior spirit is definitely threatening to a lot of people.
I can see that. We're always threatened. As a species, we're threatened by change.
Exactly. We have a hard time changing. The Indigos are unable to conform to dysfunctional situations at home, work, or school. So it's on every front. They find something that's not what they consider quote unquote right, they're going to attack it head on. Indigos don't have the ability to disassociate from their feelings and pretend like everything's okay. They're wise beyond their years, and while it can be frustrating to their parents, teachers, the truth is that they do know a lot of things. They're very perceptive about others, and they're prone to saying the most politically incorrect thing at the most inappropriate moment. So I'm sure people out there that have an Indigo child are like shaking their heads right now. But social conventions are not part of their understanding. They know what has to be said, and they're not afraid to say it. The generations before the Indigos were accustomed to accepting the status quo, but not the Indigos. They represent the calm before the storm, so to speak, because they have prepared us for the next generation of even more evolved children, the crystals. So, the crystal children are the generation who actually benefit from the Indigo's trailblazing. And they began to appear between the 1980s and about 2010. Their main purpose is to take us to the next level in our evolution and to reveal to us our inner and higher power. So they function as a group consciousness rather than as individuals. And they live by the law of one or global oneness. And I think you can kind of see that coming into like social media and a lot of like the wave of focus, I feel like lately on kind of that global unity.
Yes.
Global awareness.
Yeah, their unity is definitely worldwide, where ours used to be maybe school-wide or you know, our social circle physically. So, wow.
Yeah, it was like just within your small community, but not theirs is definitely global.
Yes.
And it's interesting how that all, the timing comes together, divine timing. The crystal children are advocates for love and peace on the planet, Teresa. They have an opalescent aura, and they actually tend to be drawn to rocks and crystals. Crystal children have access to the gifts of clairvoyance and healing, but the first thing that people usually recognize about them is their forgiving nature.
Yes.
They have a higher vibrational frequency than most people, and they are very incredibly sensitive. And this stems from their ability to feel that universal consciousness. Like they feel that overall what happens to one part of the world, like they feel that wherever they are. So they sense the universal consciousness.
Yes, I feel that it resonates so strongly to what I know of my crystal child. My crystal grown up now, but yeah.
Yes, right. I know it's hard to think of these as children because they are adults now, and that's all part of the divine process. With these crystal children, they say you won't be able to hide anything from these children. You won't be able to lie to them either, just like with the indigo children, because they actually will know, not so much discerning that you're lying, but they just immediately know what the truth is. It's like an innate sense with them. Crystal children have the ability to reflect things back to the universe. So that's why it's really important to surround these particular children with good energy at all times. Because that way, what's they're absorbing and reflecting back out into the universe will be harmonious, peaceful, a sense of oneness, and which will in turn help raise all of our vibrational frequencies. So they absorb it in and they reflect it out.
Beautiful.
Crystal children are fearless, and they're working to replace fear and greed in the world with peace and harmony and a sense of oneness. That's their mission. Another phenomenon associated with crystal children is actually a delayed speech pattern. That just happens to be one of the things that researchers have picked up on. And it's actually not surprising that they would have delayed speech because they're incredibly psychic. And so why would they need to talk when they can communicate with their minds? It's actually not uncommon to see crystal children that don't really speak until about 3 years old. Right. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Crystal children are very philosophical and they're spiritually gifted. So, Teresa, another thing that I really found interesting about crystal children is, have you ever had one of those people that you've a friend or somebody you've known that like they walk in a room and a light bulb will pop, or they always have problems with their watch or their phone? Just electrical things always seem to happen around them. Like I have somebody in particular I'm thinking of that for some reason things in their car always get messed up electrically. Well, one of the attributes for crystal children would be that their vibrational energy is on a much higher frequency. So it actually affects electrical objects around them. And it's not uncommon for them to have all sorts of weird difficulties going on with those kind of things.
Well, that makes perfect sense energetically.
Yeah. And it's just so funny because it's just specifically that I know that just for no apparent reason always has these problems. So they actually have great difficulty relating to the self-centered and limited perspectives that human society operates within right now, because they are such a universal mind. Like I said before, they're clairvoyant, psychic. They see angels many times. They speak of spirit guides, and they can often feel and see the future. They know about past lives and can often talk about who they were in the past. They're also very connected as a group, which we discussed, and much of their work for the planet is done on the levels of the higher consciousness as a group. So they're really teaching us to honor our planet and ourselves and to see the beauty and the wonder and the joy of all creation.
I found them to be very empathetic, and that probably makes sense given that they have sort of a one world mind, that trials and tribulations of one are also their trials and tribulations.
And we really are coming off of a society that was so self-centered. It's all about me, me, me.
Yes.
And here they're trying to change this to that one mind, where we think of others, and it's all, how does everything affect everyone else? And what a job, what a mission,
I'm ready, I'm willing, take me.
Right? Yes. So these beautiful crystal children their mission is to do all these wonderful things, but they're moving us towards the next generation, which are the rainbow children. So the rainbow children began arriving in the year 2000, and they're here to build on to what the indigo and the crystal children began. The rainbow children they're born to smile. And they have huge hearts that are full of forgiveness. They're just completely exuding love and happiness and joy. It's just innate with them. Rainbow children, they exhibit emotional mastery just well beyond the capabilities of most children. They're able to recover from any state of negative emotion extremely quickly. So they just don't hold on to that at all. Rainbow children are psychic as well, and they have the ability to read people's feelings. The rainbow children's sensitivities make them vulnerable to things like allergies and rashes because they're so heightened. Their sensitivities are so heightened it manifests on their skin.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. I thought it's just interesting how our body, as we know, our body is affected by the emotions and all the energy that we subjected to.
Yes, we're definitely going to have to clear the chemicals out of our environment then for that generation.
Exactly. Yes. And you see, I feel like we're moving towards, here we have this big non-GMO, anti-GMO type thing going on. I feel like it's all part of that. Like we need to clean up our act. We need to clean everything up. It's interesting, obviously, as would be expected, that these rainbow children have a connection to color. In fact, they resonate with the colors around them. They're drawn to color. They're drawn to colorful clothes, colorful surroundings, things like brightly colored rooms and outside in nature, flowers, those kind of things. They're high energy children, and their enthusiasm is demonstrated in their creativity. And astonishingly, rainbow children come with no karma, Teresa.
What?
No karma.
So how is that?
Yeah, they're born into our world with no karma because they've never incarnated before.
Oh, wow.
So these are souls that, for people that believe in reincarnation, we come here and, we live our life and we do good things and we do quote unquote bad things or whatever. And we pick up different karmic imprints based on a life we've had in the past. And then we move on to spirit, and then we're born again and we live another life, but we have the residual of those karmic influences, imprints from our previous life. Well, for these children who have never incarnated on Earth before, or possibly anywhere, I don't know, but definitely not here, they have no karma. So they're clean, they're fresh. They have no strings attached to their past because obviously they're not continuing from any previous cycle of reincarnation.
No wonder they're full of joy.
Right? They're just, it's pure happiness, pure love, pure peace. These rainbow children are believed to be perfectly balanced in their male and female energies. And this balanced male and female energy, it really is a vital component for humanity to achieve peaceful coexistence with one another. I mean, we have to find a way for those energies to be, quote unquote, in balance. Rainbow children are confident without aggressiveness. They're intuitive, like I said, they're psychic, but all of that without any effort. They don't have to work at it. It's just there. The rainbow children operate purely out of joy, and they don't operate out of need or impulse. It's really all joy. They're known to be natural healers and instant manifestors. So it's said that whatever they need or desire, they can instantly manifest. So they're like the queen and kings of the law of attraction. rainbow children. They really are thought to be the builders of the new world, utilizing divine will. So they're here to build a new world in the way that the ultimate divine energy, divine will, God, whatever label you want to use, wants for us. So, just to kind of wrap it all up into one concise summary of these children, it's said that the Indigo children showed humanity how rigid and inflexible and destructive we had become. The crystals showed us how closed and unfeeling we had become. And the rainbow children, they're here to teach us how to open our hearts and truly feel the great heart that beats at the center of the universe so that all of humanity can come together in peace and love in a new world here on Earth.
It feels like an honor just to be of this earth at a time like that. It's very exciting. What might we see in the future?
Right. It is it's like you said, it's difficult in a way because anytime you have all of this turmoil going on, even if ultimately it's for good, it's painful. It's like childbirth. It's painful when you're going through it, but you can get through it because at the end something beautiful and glorious and wonderful is coming into the world. Well, that's kind of how I look at what the state of our world, as much as it gets heavy on me in the moment when you think about the individuals and the pain of people suffering when horrible things happen. When you can step back from that and look at the whole and realize it's part of the childbirth, it's part of the pains, and something good will happen eventually. It makes it, for me anyway, a little easier to cope with.
Yes, and I think you're right that we can get through it. I believe in the cyclical nature of everything, so I believe we have gotten through it before. Many, many cycles, probably. So we'll come out the other side, and it promises to be spectacular.
Spectacular.
I love spectacular. I need spectacular.
I'm totally do my jazz hands. Spectacular.
Just picture the jazz hands. And thanks, Rainbow, Crystal, and Indigo children.
Thank you, children.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you. And let's all do jazz hands, and we'll go into a break, and we'll be back in a minute.
Kim Ballstad.
Teresa York.
Did you get your subscription box that Love Goodly sent you?
I did. I'm so excited, Teresa. It was so nice of Love Goodly to give us this wonderful gift of checking out their subscription box service. They sent both of us this amazing box full of goodness.
Yes, and it's a great representation. It's one of the actual boxes that they sent their subscribers. So it's one of the boxes that they send every other month. And yeah, it's a great product. So I understand that you've been good and you haven't opened yet.
I have been a very good girl, and I have not even opened the tape until a few minutes ago. But I understand you were naughty.
I've been a bad girl.
Yes.
I did. I've been a great girl. I opened my box and pulled out the product card so I could just sort of get an idea of what was inside. And you're going to be thrilled.
Yeah, I know. And I've been dying and I couldn't wait to open it.
Do it.
Yeah, so let's do it. So here we go. I'm opening my box. Oh, first of all, I have to say, I'm a sucker for a beautiful presentation, and this is gorgeous.
Yeah, the packing is awesome. It's full of hearts and says Love Goodly on the inside. Please recycle or reuse this box. And it's a really great size and sturdy box that I'll definitely be reusing. But get to the stuff.
Let's look at this awesome stuff. Well, I have to say, I love it. I love that they have a card here with all of the products listed and what they are and what their value is and what ingredients. And Teresa, you know what I love on the back of this card? There's a recipe.
Oh, right. Easy vegan corn chowder. That is so cool.
Not that I would ever make it, but I'm definitely going to have my husband make it. Because he's the cook.
Yeah, he is the cook, as is mine. One thing that I noticed about this box is it's just packed full of little goodies like that recipe.
Yeah.
That are just extra, that were totally unexpected, because you'll notice one of the next things you see in your box, Kim, is a really great door hang tag from keepabreast.org. Get it? Keep Abreast.
I don't get it. Explain it to me.
I'll explain it later, but it's all about loving your boobies. This is awesome.
I love your boobies.
I love to love my boobies.
Yes,
and I love
should.
that you love your boobies, and all the people should. It goes over how to, do a self-exam and things you should know. And what a great gift, and what a loving, caring gift to give to their subscribers. So I thought that was really cool.
I think it's very cool. Everybody definitely needs to be doing this. And I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. It's something that I haven't been doing, and I know it's something I should do. So this is always a great reminder. And I love that it's a door hang, and I'm going to hang on to this.
Yeah. So, seriously, thank you, Love Goodly, for that. That's nice.
So, Teresa, because, everybody is not here and can't see everything, we're not going to go through everything, in the box. But needless to say, there are amazing items in here. You've got full-size products.
Yes, everything I noticed is full-size.
Yeah, I mean,
I just never get that with the subscription box.
No, usually you get little dinky, tiny samples, they say are samples, but you can barely use it one time. These are like... I want to talk about everything.
Give them a quick rundown, just to, here's the thing.
Because I'm so excited, because this is the first time I'm seeing it, unlike some people. So there's an amazing blush brush in here, which it looks like everything in here. I'm sure it's cruelty-free, so that's awesome.
Vegan, Kim, can you believe it's that soft?
Super soft. That's awesome.
Yes.
Looks like there's an aromatherapy roll-on for calm and sleep.
Yes.
Mr. B's. There's amazing Bella Pierre Cosmetics. What is this? Mineral blush. That's a beautiful color.
Yeah, and I actually tested that, Kim. It's beautiful, gorgeous. Yeah. I had a little time.
What is this? Some breath spray. Oh, this is cool. Breath mist. Fresh breath. I will keep that in my handbag.
Oh, Kim. Yeah, cardamom, fennel, ginger, amazeballs.
Oh my gosh, that sounds fabulous. Yes, and then, oh my gosh, what is this? Nourishing blueberry facial mask. I have to sniff. Oh my gosh, that smells like a blueberry pie. That's awesome.
God. So we're all happy to hear that, but this is not Smell-O-Vision or Smellcast. But actually, yes, it does. It smells heavenly.
Wow. I really am kind of blown away at what's in this box. And Teresa, can you believe that they sell these subscription boxes for just $29.95 every other month? You get a new box.
So here's the thing on that too, Kim.
Wow.
$29.95. Yeah. And I kind of added up all the retail prices of the products, but now I see they also helpfully put that on the card for me. But we had $104, actually a little more than $104 value retail.
Whoa.
In these products. Yeah. So for $29.95. Which is awesome.
That is incredible. And the thing is, Teresa, that I really love is the fact that you get to try products that you never would have maybe discovered before. And it's just a really great way, I think, to discover these things and, find new favorites.
I feel like it's ideal for our audience because a lot of us are seekers. And I know I'm just now starting to move into like vegan and cruelty-free products.
Right.
And I don't know a lot about them. So I am super excited about this. And $29.95 every other month for like $100 plus of great products is just really a great deal.
It is. Let's give our listeners a quick rundown. We've talked about that it's a box subscription service. It's filled with cruelty-free, toxin-free, eco-friendly vegan products. If you sign up for their subscription, it's every other month, and you get a box full of 4 to 5 full-size.
I'm loving that part.
Right? Beauty, lifestyle, and wellness products. And like you said, $29.95. But Teresa, tell them the best part.
Okay. So the best part is that our friends at Love Goodly are generously giving Holistically Curious listeners a special offer of 20% off your first subscription box. Now they need to use the discount code Curious20, and that's numbers 20. So on the discount code, go Curious, CuriouS20. Curious20. When you go to Love Goodly and you go there at lovegoodly.com, LOVEGOODLY.com.
And don't wait, friends, because this offer expires December 31st. And just keep in mind it can't be combined with other offers. But why would it need to be? Because it's amazing. Please take advantage, enjoy, test it out, check out your first box. You can cancel at any time, but I guarantee you won't want to. These products are beautiful. And thanks again to our friends at Love Goodly.
Yeah, thanks again, Love Goodly. We love our boxes, and we think it's such a great product for our listeners who are, of course, curious about all things holistic, natural, eco-friendly, healthy.
Vegan, toxin-free, cruelty-free, and good, all sorts of goodness.
And full of goodness. So remember, go to lovegoodly.com and enter your discount code of Curious20. Bye!
Bye! What's been going on, girlfriend? What are you into? What are you curious about? What's the
Well, I'll tell you what I'm really curious about is why the heck can I not get to sleep?
What? Have you caught my non-sleep bug? What's going on with you?
It's so funny because we were talking about that after our Love Goodly box and we received the Mr. B's Calm Sleep roll-on because I would have told you that I wouldn't need such a thing even 2 weeks ago. I'm pretty good at sleep, you must agree. Like,
you have been known. You have
I'm
been
a
known
9
to
to
like
10 hour a day girl with liberal naps thrown in generally. But yeah, I just lately I've maybe had stress, and it's stress if it's good or bad, but I definitely have not been sleeping. So made me think about sleep a lot lately. So that's what I've been curious about. Mm-hmm. Kim, you know that my husband has ongoing health problems. And there was a time before he retired that he had become, much sicker. And his doctor actually said to us, if Mark is to return to work, you have to have an agreement from his employer that he takes an actual nap every day during work. He's like, we're not talking about relaxing in the break room. We're not even talking about laying down on a couch. You have to be allowed to sleep every day if I'm going to let you go to work. So, that really told me, you hear about the restorative benefits of sleep, but the benefits of sleep are amazing. And that's what I wanted to talk about today is just how restorative and good for you it is, and some of the things that you can do if you're having any difficulties with it.
Well, this is something my ears are perked up because,
I know.
Like I said, I'm trying to get my sleep schedule back on track. So I'm definitely going to take notes.
Absolutely. Well, there is some good information for you, but also, of course, just as in every episode, you can find all of the links in our show notes to both the information that Kim has given you and the information that I have. So if you visit our website, or we'll provide a link through Facebook, but you can access any of these studies or articles that you would like to. Okay, some of the things that sleep does for you. It may help you live longer.
I'll take that.
I'll take it.
Yes, please. Yes, please. I'll have some more. I'll have seconds.
Ma'am, more, please. You want to live longer if we're going to have this rainbow child world.
Yes, I want to see these rainbow children grow up to adults.
Yes, it's going to be amazing. Too little sleep and unfortunately also too much sleep both can be associated with a shorter lifespan. And though it's not immediately clear if it's cause or effect, say if illness affects your sleep pattern or the sleep pattern affects your illness, it's generally thought that it's both. So you address one, you help the other in both ways. So address both. But in 2010, a study of women aged 50 to 79, there were more deaths occurring in the women who got less than 5 hours than the women who got 6.5 hours or more of sleep per night. I feel like I want to protect you and wrap you in cotton because I know that you're a less than 5 hour girl.
Well, I'm working on that, my friend. So
Very good. Is some of the health benefits of sleeping, one may be curbing inflammation. So inflammation is linked directly to heart disease, stroke, diabetes, arthritis, premature aging. And research has shown that people who get less sleep, say 6 hours or fewer a night, they have higher blood levels of inflammatory proteins than those who get more sleep.
that is so interesting. I had no idea that inflammation affected so many things.
So many things that you wouldn't think of.
I mean, to me, I hear inflammation, I think of
Yes.
arthritis. Like, that's all I think of. You know what I mean? Wow.
Well,
Okay.
premature aging, nobody wants that.
Nobody wants
No,
that.
nobody wants that. So, yeah.
I don't want any of that stuff you said a minute ago.
No, I don't want any of the bad stuff and more of the good stuff, please. So
I think that I want all of our listeners to have the same. So continue on.
Yes, thank you. So another thing that's sort of non-health related, but is so beneficial in getting the adequate amount of sleep is it spurs creativity. Not only does it, when you're sleeping, it helps you consolidate memories that you've made and make them stronger, which will talk about that shortly, but researchers at Harvard University and Boston College found that people seem to strengthen the emotional components of a memory during sleep, and that may help spur the creative process. So not only are you processing during the night factoids that you've picked up during the day, and that may help you memorize them, but you're also processing the different emotional components, and that may help you process and use them in an artistic way.
Wow, that is so...
I think that's true.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, how many times have you gone to sleep at night, say with a problem or just something you're working through or thinking about, and you wake up in the morning and then it's like instantly you have an answer. Like, oh,
Yes.
this is what I need to do to fix that or do that, or this is a story I want to write, or, I totally get that. Like, you need that time for your brain to process.
Another thing that proper sleep helps with is winning.
Winning? I'm all about winning.
Hashtag winning.
Hashtag as in you're a winner. No, I don't. Okay, what does this mean? You're going to win the lottery? What the heck?
Well, maybe you'll win the lottery. Maybe, you'll feel healthy enough to go to the store and buy a ticket. That's a stretch. But how about this?
Okay.
If you're an athlete, it may be one of the simple ways to improve your performance.
Yes.
A Stanford University study found that college football players tried to sleep at least 10 hours every night for 7 to 8 weeks, and they improved their average sprint time and had less daytime fatigue. And there were other results of the same study, but using other sports. They had similar findings in tennis players and swimmers. Well, look, in the last Olympics, you saw the swimmers that had the red circles from cupping, which cupping is a holistic practice. We may get into that in the future. But anyway, it was fairly thought unstandard for athletes,
Right.
But they will do anything
to improve their performance.
Generally that the law will allow, yes, to improve their performance.
Well, they're supposed to only do what the law will allow.
Yeah, generally.
Yes,
Yeah.
generally.
But so if this is a proven thing that you can do is just get adequate sleep. I'm interested that they said at least 10 hours a night because I do sleep 10 hours and I thought that might be a bit too much, but it's not actually.
Well,
So,
yeah. And doesn't it, I mean, I'm sure that varies. That's maybe the preference,
Yes.
but like depending on the person, less for some, whatever.
Yes, I'm so happy you said that because that is true.
Okay.
And for anyone listening, it does vary by the person and your needs vary according to person, but also according to what stage you are in your life. And, aging particularly tends to decrease your need for sleep. I would say in hours, you still need good quality sleep, but you're absolutely right. It varies by person. So another thing is your grades. Children between the ages of 10 and 16 who have sleep disordered breathing, so they might have snoring or sleep apnea, where you stop breathing throughout the night, or just other types of interrupted breathing during sleep, are far more likely to have problems with attention and learning. So there was a study in the 2010 Journal of Sleep that said that could lead to significant functional impairment at school. And in another study, college students who didn't get enough sleep had worse grades than those who did. These are hard facts.
Yeah.
This is things that happened when you don't get enough sleep. Sleep also sharpens your attention. Children and adults react to not getting enough sleep in different ways, but for both of them, it affects the way that they think and process. So for adults, lack of sleep can result in feeling groggy or sleepy, foggy brain. Children who are sleep deprived tend to display ADHD-like symptoms, and they have trouble focusing and paying attention enough to really learn. So in both children and adults, your attention is affected severely when you don't have enough sleep. And who wouldn't want to be the perfect weight? This is very interesting. Let me tell you about a study at the University of Chicago, because it's not that dieters who are well rested lose more weight. They found that they lost more fat.
Oh, wow.
So the dieters that were well rested, all things being equal, lost more fat, and those who were sleep deprived lost more muscle mass.
Huh. So did they get into the details on that?
I didn't read the details on it. What do you mean?
I'm just curious of why it would affect, like it would target more. I can see that, like, you have time, your body has time to rest and like do what it needs to do while you're sleeping, but why that would affect fat more than, say, muscle? Like, why would that burn, say, the fat? Then that's just interesting to me.
Yes, it is interesting, and that's a really good question. So the article that cited this study didn't really get into that, but I have seen other things, Kim, where sleeping well really affects like your hormonal levels, your levels of different chemistries in your body that help you process, and it helps with your metabolism. So I'm just assuming, I don't know, that somehow... Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it makes sense. What you're saying actually makes sense. And I know you don't want to say something and be 100, like somebody saying, that's not it. But
yeah,
those are all things that definitely make sense that do impact your weight. But isn't that curious, that
it is. Yeah.
But I have heard that before, that good sleep can affect good body weight, maintaining good body weight.
I've heard that, but I had no idea that it's also the quality of your body weight is affected.
Exactly.
That you could lose more fat than muscle mass. Of course, muscle mass is the last thing that you want to lose.
That's really interesting.
Proper sleep also helps to lower stress, and that helps you to control blood pressure. But it also affects cholesterol levels, which play a significant role in heart disease. So the two combined, lowering stress, controlling blood pressure, and then affecting those cholesterol levels, you can see how this may be a direct correlation to a longer lifespan if you have adequate sleep. And speaking of a longer lifespan, in terms of accidents, being very tired contributes far more to fatal single car run off the road crashes than even alcohol.
Yeah. Well, who hasn't, unfortunately, been extremely tired at one time or another and caught their head bopping down when they're driving? It's terrifying.
Yes. And just having insufficient sleep for just one night can be just as detrimental to your driving ability as having an alcoholic drink. So it doesn't even have to be chronic sleep deprivation. It can just be, one bad night can really affect your driving ability.
Scary.
Yes. So one thing that we mentioned earlier, and I kind of very quickly skipped over because I knew what was coming, is that while you're sleeping, you're processing things that you learned during the day. And I held that back particularly because there's a thing called sleep learning in your sleep, that is really intriguing right now to scientists. There's been a lot of studies. Now, your mind is really busy while you're sleeping. You may be strengthening memories, you're practicing, and that's in quotes, you're practicing in your mind skills that you learn while you're awake. And that's is due to a process called consolidation. So if you're trying to learn something, whether it's physical or mental, you learn it to a certain point with the practice, but then something happens later when you sleep that somehow makes you learn it better. So it files it away in a way that's more retrievable, or just the repetition in your mind just enhances almost your body memory. So there's some things that are not what we thought with learning in our sleep. So the days are gone now when we may want to learn to be fluent in French, and we buy a learn French while you sleep tape and put on our headphones. And scientists have found that actually doesn't work. They have seen a little bit of learning in initial studies that they suspected was happening when the listeners would wake up slightly during the night. So they said, okay, we need to really test this. And what they did is they would measure the brainwaves of the participants and make sure that the audio was only playing at times when they were scientifically validated as being asleep. And they found that in that case, participants learned nothing. When they played it all of the time, whether it showed the deep brainwaves of being asleep or not, they learned some things. So it seems pretty obvious that they're learning little bits as they rouse slightly during the night. No, I'm not knocking that, Kim. I listen to podcasts and things while I'm sleeping, and I find that I import them into my dreams sometimes, or I wake up and I'm thinking about it. But I've always known sort of that I have roused several times during the night and heard it during that time. Not a bad thing if it doesn't bother you and it's good information. Yeah. Also, I am by no means knocking any of those like subliminal meditations that you can put on when you're about to go to sleep. I found them to be really helpful. They have breathing techniques that really help me go to sleep very peacefully. And I pick up a lot of information from them as my brain is cycling down into those states before I'm well and truly asleep. So I'm not at all knocking them. I think they're very valuable tools. And again, you may rouse at times and sort of hear it, and that's good for you. But in terms of actually learning, like you're not, as we used to think, learning French solidly from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. or whatever. But what they have found is that, again, it's strengthening the memories the memories and skills that you picked up during the day.
It is interesting because I think for especially students, you read something and you need that time. Like you said, it strengthens those memories. So I would think you need that time for it to integrate into your mind and all those things that you've studied. It seems so apparent that that's important and that is a valuable side effect of sleep.
Yes, it's so valuable that scientists and technology have their eye to this sort of consolidation of memories and skills during sleep. And they're looking for ways that in the future they might be able to upgrade the brain's sleep cycles. Memory consolidation is thought to occur during specific slow oscillations of electrical activity. So their idea is to subtly encourage those brain waves without waking up the subject. One method is by using a transcranial direct current stimulation. It's just what you think. Passing a small electric current across the skull, successfully improving subject's performance on a verbal memory test. So they're causing the subject to have more of the particular sleep wherein consolidation seems to occur. And when they have more time in that, let's say, depth or realm of sleep, the more they've been able to improve their performance.
I need one of these right now.
I know. I can give you an electrical brain stimulation, but it may not have, the properly studied effects. So
yeah, I don't think I want you to administer that. I want a professional. Yeah. Wow.
That feels deeply personal. So another less invasive form of stimulation has been studied, and in this one they use a skull cap of electrodes to measure neural activity, and while the headphone delivers sounds that are in sync with the brain waves, that generally enhances that neural activity. So it more gently without an electrical stimulation causes your brain to be in a longer, deep, slow wave sleep. That reminds me, Kim, a lot of music with is it binaural beats that sort of mimic or contain certain tones that we resonate with?
Yeah, that's really interesting. That I wonder how that affects your dreams. Like, I wonder if it can influence like that electrical stimulation. I mean, I know it's so that we process that information, or we build up that ability to, what's the word? Is it memory or what?
Yeah, to consolidate your memories and skills.
Yeah, but I wonder if it also that electrical, if that affects your dreaming somehow.
So Kim, you're right to wonder that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. In fact, some scientists are concerned.
Okay.
And they say that a lot more study is required before this becomes sort of a mainstream thing, because in addition to the concern that you have, but also, what happens when we make more intense certain skills, or we carve more space in our brain for certain memories that you've enhanced with this stimulation? They're concerned that possibly there's a finite amount of space. You might be affecting other things that normally would have processed. Mm-hmm. And they basically say it's something that we're not ready to mess with yet, right, but it's a field that we need a lot more study in. So.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think with anything like that, you're manipulating something as all-encompassingly powerful as our brains. It's scary to think you manipulate something and it affects us maybe positively in one respect, but negatively down the road in a whole nother way that wasn't predicted. So it's right. Just, you definitely, I mean, yeah, let's keep researching this. Let's keep experimenting, because it could have amazing benefits, but also let's be cautious. That's, I don't want anything. I joke about get me one, but I really would be hesitant to utilize something like that unless I really knew there'd been a lot of research.
Yeah, we need to think long and hard anytime we mess with nature in any way.
Exactly.
And yet we do. So,
yeah.
That we'll just be mindful.
Yeah, I mean, God gave us our intellect for a reason. I mean, I do think that we need to, that's what life is. It's creating and exploring, and I think it's a good thing, but we just got to be cautious with it.
So we're running a little short on time, but I want to run through very quickly just some of the ways that you can get to sleep if you're having problems.
Yes, please.
I mean, I think I've spent a lot of time telling you why you should be sleeping adequately, but saying you should and doing it, sometimes right. Two different things. So here we go. It's called good sleep hygiene, and I think that I don't like. I
love some good hygiene.
I don't know. It sounds so sterile and clinical to me, and sleep is more warm and cuddly. But here we go.
Okay.
So some of these things are obvious to you. Some you've never heard. Some work for your life, and some won't. You take it or leave it and find something that works for you. You can avoid caffeine, alcohol, nicotine, any of the chemicals that awaken you, arouse you. Obviously, you're going to avoid at least starting within 3 hours of your bedtime. You want to turn your bedroom into a sleep-inducing environment. So you want quiet, dark, cool. You lower the level of outside noise. You can use the earplugs. You can use white noise. You want heavy curtains, blackout shades, or an eye mask to block out light if you're going to be sleeping during a time that there is light. So sometimes it gets light early, it gets dark late, maybe your sleep schedule is disrupted naturally or because of work. But light is a powerful cue that tells the brain it's time to wake up, so you definitely want to eliminate light. And the bedroom should be comfortably cool, between 60 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit, with the room well ventilated. They say if a pet regularly wakes you during the night, you may want to consider keeping it out. That's
not going to happen.
That's still not going to happen for me. I'd be so lonely. So again, pick and choose.
Okay.
Gotta have my dog with me, but that's just me. Also, if possible, limit your bedroom activities to sleep and sex only.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, had to go there,
Went
but
there.
yeah. So they'd like for you to keep computers, TV, work materials out of the room. It just sort of strengthens that mental association between the bedroom and sleep. Establish a soothing pre-sleep routine. Pick something that works for you well and try to stick to it as much as possible. Light reading before bed is a good way to ease the transition from wake time to sleep time. You can take a bath. When you take a warm bath, the rise and fall in body temperature promotes drowsiness. Practice relaxation exercises. You're going to, in general, avoid stressful or stimulating activities. So you don't want to be doing work. Avoid emotional issues if you can. Don't try to take your problems to bed. If you're someone who generally does, try writing them down and then set them aside. They'll be there still for you tomorrow.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. That's a really good piece of advice.
And try to sleep when you're truly tired. So if you're trying to fall asleep and it takes you 20 minutes, don't force yourself. Get up, go to another room, do something relaxing. Read or listen to music until you're tired enough to actually sleep. And the same thing is if you're someone who wakes during the night. If it's been 20 minutes and you can't go back to sleep, get up and do something, not anything that will alert you or stimulate you in any way, but just, again, calmly reading, things like that.
So don't just lay there for hours on end staring at the ceiling and thinking, I need to fall asleep.
Weirdly, they don't recommend that.
Weird.
I've always felt being stressed about having to sleep an excellent narcotic, but they're the scientists. Yeah, I mean, haven't you ever, you stayed up too late and you have an early wake up?
Yes.
And so all you can think of is, I have to sleep now. And nothing will turn you off quicker than that.
That is so true. And then they look at the clock. Okay, now I'll get 4 hours if I go right to sleep right this second. An hour later, now I'll get 3 hours.
Yes. One of the articles I read actually said don't be a clock watcher, and they actually recommend turning the clock because what you just described is very, very common.
Wow.
And they recommend that you should exercise, and exercise helps promote restful sleep, but don't do it less than several hours before you go to bed. If you exercise during the day, you do fall asleep faster, you sleep more soundly, but exercise actually stimulates the body to secrete a stress hormone, cortisol. And that helps to activate the alert mechanism on your brain. That's the last thing you want at the very end of the day. Yeah, so that's what I learned about sleep. Wow. I learned so much more. I have to say, there'll be another whole episode related in the future, but it does far, far more than I ever dreamed. So I hope it was beneficial to everybody. It was very beneficial to me. And I have to say, I'm super excited because, again, in our Love Goodly box, there was the Calm Sleep Aromatherapy Roll-On by Mr. B. So I'm going to be trying that tonight. And another thing, Kim, and I neglected to mention earlier about melatonin. So it's a chemical you naturally have in your body, and melatonin supplements can help you become drowsy. And I found a really neat product at Whole Foods called Good Day chocolate.
What?
I know. So I've bought their energy chocolate that has caffeine in it. I've got a turmeric chocolate, a calm supplement. But my favorite so far has been sleep supplement that actually has pharmaceutical grade melatonin in it. So it has,
what?
Yes.
And it's chocolate?
And it's chocolate. It's 1 milligram melatonin per piece. A serving is 4 pieces, but I found that 2, for me, does it. So, yeah.
You've been holding out on me, girlfriend. I cannot believe this.
I just ordered a case, and I will be bringing some to you when I see you in a couple weeks.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I'm so excited. Me, combine anything with chocolate pretty much, and I'm going to be happy.
I told my husband I could just get melatonin, and he's like, honey, you want the chocolate.
That's right.
So that's what I was curious about.
Wow. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And you definitely know that's something that I need to hear more and more about. So
Yeah.
I'm going to take some of those ideas and suggestions and implement those because I am bad about like working on my laptop in my bedroom.
Yes.
And I know that is just a no-no. That does need to be a place of just, sleep, primarily sleep. And so good reminders.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And this list is not all inclusive. Like there was so much information. So we'd like to hear from you guys. What have you found is helpful in falling asleep or getting, good quality sleep? What sleep hygiene routine do you follow? And Kim,
I love it.
How can they contact us to share that?
Yes. Please reach out to us. You can go to our Facebook page, Holistically Curious on Facebook. They can go to Instagram. We've got Twitter. And you can always go to holisticallycurious.com. You can send us a message there and check out all of our past episodes. So yeah, let's contact us. We want to hear from you.
Please do. And please, if you listen to us on iTunes or your favorite podcast provider, please do take a moment and leave us a review and give us 5 stars. It really helps immensely. It helps us to know that you're out there. We can see it in the downloads, but we'd love to hear from you more directly. But it also helps other people find the podcast. So if you found it valuable, please leave a review, leave us 5 stars, and it sort of bumps us up in a way that we're more findable when somebody does a search.
And we'll love you forever and ever and ever.
And ever.
We'll love them anyway, I have to admit.
Well, yeah,
but
forever and ever.
We would appreciate it. So.
Yeah, we'd be very happy.
So,
and
we really would appreciate it.
And until we hear from you.
Yes, until we hear from you, Teresa, tell them what they got to do, my friend.
I'm going to tell you what you got to do. What you really, really got to do. Sorry. Please stay curious.
Curious.
Bye.
Bye.